Today I'm going to show you how to jig for fish at the pier. It's a really simple and effective way. It does not require you to have fresh bait. It's actually a very simple, minimalistic way of fishing. Today we're going to be talking about jigging, which can be very complicated or very simple, depending on how you want to look at it. Let me explain this to you simply. Jigging is basically using a lure or a rig and bouncing it off the bottom in this motion. That's jigging, okay? So it's kind of an umbrella term for many different kinds of lures. My favorite things to do at the pier include jigging bucktails, jigging goofy jigs, jigging sabiki rigs. These are all very tried and true methods that I just personally love myself because I always catch fish this way. And today I'm going to be giving you a really quick, easy crash course on how to get you on your first fish using a jig. For me today, I'm going to be using a goofy jig, which is also called a banana jig. It's just a weighted hook that when it sinks down, it flutters down like this. A bucktail falls down like this, and it doesn't flutter. This kind of flutters down, and it mimics any kind of dying bait fish. Both of them will do that. When you're jigging, you're mimicking something that's just diving down and falling, then coming back to life, then falling again. This is a great way to attract many fish that eat smaller things. So hopefully today I'm going to be able to show you how to catch a couple of fish, show you my experiences, and show you some tips and tricks to see how you can get on some fish. Now, I've been jigging for a long time. Jigging works pretty much every single place I go to because at its core, it's just a very simple concept. You're making your lure look like it's a real dying fish, and you have to give it all the action yourself. And the action of this and letting it flutter down, this, letting it flutter down, that is the jigging itself. How hard you do this will depend on how heavy your jig is and how much action you want to give your jig. So for stuff like flounder, you don't necessarily want to jig it really high because flounder like to stay on the bottom. You kind of want to drag that jig on the bottom and kind of hop it. So that looks more like little hops like this. Versus something like mackerel or other fish that are more aggressive. You want to reel it in faster, bringing it in the middle column, making that jump higher. So when they see that flash, something's gonna attack it. So I'm excited to give today a try. I'm not sure what I'm gonna catch. Every day is a different day. I'm hoping to catch pompano, maybe some speckled trout. I don't know, we'll see. Hope it's a good day. With jiggings, you wanna keep things really simple. I'm gonna attach my main line, which is 10-pound braid, to my leader line, which is 20-pound fluorocarbon. I'm gonna do that with the uni to uni knot right here. And if you don't know how to tie your knots, I teach you how to tie it step by step in my website, heyskipperfishing.com. I've got plenty of ebooks on how to do that. I got all different colors. I think I'm gonna do either pink and white or yellow. These are both great colors. I think but you can also jig stuff like these. These are shad darts. Shad darts, you can jig them too. I think I'm going to start with a yellow banana rig, goofy jig. And to attach this, I actually do a loop knot. Just like that. And this is my jig. Now you can jig many different things. This is just one thing you can jig. This is actually one of the best things to jig here in the west coast of Florida here. So, I learned from the locals that this is the lure to use. And now to kind of enhance my chances to catching a fish, I'm gonna put some of my squiddy bits or clammy bits on here. This is my all-in-one bait kit right here. It comes with I've stocked it with tentacles, slabs, you know, clams. Basically, I do all my cutting and all my stuff in here. And I'll just cut myself a piece of slab like this. And the great part about this bait is you can cut it into any shape you want. And there's a lot of it to cut. There. And now I'll put it on the tail like this. And that's a great setup right there. Let's go catch some fish. Here's 3 quick, easy ways to start using the jig. First, cast it out. Let it hit the bottom. Start bouncing it off the bottom, bringing it back slow. Second way, cast it out. Wait till it sinks a little bit, maybe count to 3 to 4 seconds, and then just start steady retrieving it into the middle column. And then, as you're retrieving it, give your rod tip. See, look. 1, 2, 3. Not at the bottom yet. I'm going to start retrieving it. Keeping that line tight. I'm going to pop the tip of my rod and then reel in that slack. And now I'm fishing the middle column. A lot of fish like to hang out in the middle column too. And the final way is cast it and just start steady retrieving it back. Cast it and jig it back on the surface.
Something smacking the bait right there?
Sounded like it. So last time I was here, I was fishing with the goofy jig, and I was getting pompano after pompano. It was such a good day of fishing, and like not many people around me were catching them. I think it was because of the color I was using. Everyone was using a different color. I was using pink. And pink, I was getting a lot of fish. It just goes to show, it goes day by day. I might not end up catching a bunch of nice fish today, but last time I was here, I caught a lot of good fish. And I'm here back at the same tide. The water's looking very similar. It's just a matter of, are the fish gonna swim through today? If they are, I'll probably catch some. If not, I probably won't. So if you don't catch fish on your first try trying to jig, it's not necessarily your fault. Maybe it's a little bit your fault, but sometimes there's just not fish around to catch. So don't get discouraged. If you can't find fish right away, just got to keep trying. And if there's nothing today, try again tomorrow. And when you do catch fish, take note of what you did, what color it was, what tide it was, where it was located, and keep note so that next time you remember and you can do something similar. Got a bite. I just got a bite.
What did it feel like?
Like ding 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 ding. It didn't inhale the whole thing. It might have been a small one. Sometimes one color doesn't work. Sometimes they want another color. So I'm actually going to change it to a pink and white. That's another classic combo. Okay, pink and white and ½ ounce. Ooh, I'm on. Ooh, a speckled trout. That's a small one though. That's a really pretty one. And that was like within my first few casts. Too small. But that was fun. It's really easy to jig. All you gotta do is have a little bit of patience. So for me, the most important part about jigging is always knowing where that jig is. When you cast it out, like look at your line. If it's slack and there's a bow in it, it's probably on the bottom with too much line out. Yeah! What is that?
What'd you get?
That's a big porkfish. This is a piece of bait right here.
Oh my goodness. Can we cut it up for later?
I think this is... Wow, that's a big one. See,
Wow.
this jig catches everything. That's a nice one. I'm gonna let him go. So I'm setting up a quick bottom rig to just have out as I'm jigging at the same time. But one of the main reasons I don't like to use a bottom rig, but I still love using a bottom rig, but one of the major cons of a bottom rig is that in areas like this, there is a lot of small fish that will peck the living heck out of your bait. So you'll end up not catching anything and just continually feeding small fish. But I'm gonna cast it out. Maybe it's my lucky day. And now I'm gonna cast this bottom rig right by this pylon right here. I'm just gonna set it here and wait while I jig. But the jig, whatever bites the jig, it can't really steal much off of it because it's metal. And if it has like a piece of squiddy bits on it, the squiddy bits is so tough that it's hard for it to actually pull it off. I don't have to keep rebaiting my jig, whereas a bottom rig, I have to keep rebaiting, I have to keep watching. It's more active with the jigging because you have to keep casting, but it's more of a pain and nuisance because you have to keep going through bait and keep going through small fish and missing a lot of fish with this bottom rig.
It's tighter.
Yeah. The problem with the bottom bait is there's so many small fish out there that like everything's gonna keep attacking it. So you're gonna have to keep baiting up over and over and over again, and you end up going through a lot of bait. And I have a feeling it's just the small little porkfish. Another. Another same thing. This time it hooked it under its. There's a lot of bait fish out there. Look at that.
Pattern's so cool.
It's really fun actually to not know what you're gonna catch. Sometimes a really big fish hops on. I've seen some really big cobia caught with this, and cobia get enormous. Come on. What the hell?
Same thing.
Same thing.
But it was so fast.
Whoa. Maybe we'll cut this whole thing up and put it out as bait. If I catch one more, I'm cutting them up.
You always say the same thing.
Ooh, another trout. Oh.
No.
But look, it took the squid on there. Left it on. Did you see the speckled trout?
Yeah, I saw it come off.
For a second. That counts, right?
Comment below, does it count? Would you count it?
I like using a jig because when a fish hits a jig versus when it hits a bottom rig, a jig, it'll hit it and run with it. It'll hit it and run with it. They hit it really hard. So it's a much crazier fight. Well, that was a slow day of fishing. At least I got some fish. It doesn't always happen like that. Like sometimes I come out here and there's nothing. I catch nothing. But you know, I put a couple of hours into fishing. I got maybe 6 fish to show for. It was honestly, it was a really fun morning. Beautiful outside. I really love West Coast Florida because the water's just so freaking blue. It's like, well, today it looks particularly green. Last time I was here, it was really blue. When I'm in Maryland fishing, the water is typically brown. So it's a real treat to be in like this crystal clear water. Jigging is a really effective method that works for me everywhere I go. But jigging is very effective. It's been used for a long time, and I think that if you want to try, I hope that these tips can help you. So comment below. Where are you from? Do you jig? What kind of jigging do you use, and how is it different than the stuff that I'm showing you today? I hope you enjoy this episode. Here at Hey Skipper, we want to help you get on fish. I've written a lot of really awesome ebooks to help you guys learn. It includes pier fishing, surf fishing, jetty fishing, using different kinds of baits, how to tie certain rigs, how to tie certain knots. The list goes on and on. If you want to learn more, visit our website, heyskipperfishing.com. Also, you can get our squiddy bits in our bait box there, which is all of our salted baits. This is specialty bait that Erin and I hand make. We usually have a very limited quantity of this bait, so order it quick, stock up on it. It saves in your refrigerator for I've had it for 6 months to a year in my refrigerator. Doesn't go bad, doesn't go stinky. It's a really great bait. I think you should try it out. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next week.